Okay, Boys State, tonight we got some very special guests with us, so behave like young men. And while I'm thinking about it, as I was walking around the football field or the soccer field today, I noticed there's quite a few bottles laying around. So tomorrow, while you're out doing your activities, or tonight when you're walking back to your dorms, pick up the trash. It wasn't there when we got here. It's not going to be there when we leave. Okay? We got that?
Bow your heads with me for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, you are so good to us. You are the only reason that we get to come here to Boys State. We confess all of our sin to you. We have done so much wrong, and yet you forgive us for our humanly nature. We thank you for that. We also thank you for the beautiful campus of Rogers State provided to us, as well as the amazing food and dorms, as well as the counselors that have given up their time to come here and serve. We pray for the safety of every individual here, as well as that everyone has fun the next 2 days and a safe trip home on Saturday. And all of God's people said, Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Take your seats.
Been an interesting day at Boys State. Yeah. It's kind of like Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, all got in the same room and took over Boys State. That was a mess today, but it was beautiful. Thanks for doing that. Okay, let's review. You're a mile away and you've got his shoes. Remember? Still don't like that joke, do you? Thank you, yeah. Yeah. I'm not leaving. I've got another joke, and I've got some advice tonight for y'all, and it's going to be really good for those of you going back home Saturday, which we hope all of you are. So here's the joke. It's not really a joke. It happened today at the Oklahoma City Zoo, but it started 20 years ago. There was a man who went on safari, and he was out in the jungle, and along came a herd of elephants. And they went out to that herd of elephants, and they looked, and there was a little elephant. He wasn't a little elephant. He wasn't a big elephant. He was this size elephant. And the other herd left to go to the water, and this elephant, the little one, kind of stayed, and he was shaking his foot like he was hurt. And so the man watched him for a while, and the elephant was having trouble walking. So he walked over to the elephant real slowly because, they're big elephants. He reached over and he pulled a thorn about this big out of that elephant's foot. Now, this is all true. He pulled it out of there, and the little elephant walked off, and then he turned around and came back to the man. And when he came back, he kind of looked at him, his eyes twinkled. He started wiggling his ears at the guy, and he started dancing back and forth with his feet. And the guy kind of danced back and forth with him, and they just had a bond. I mean, it was really good. In fact, the little elephant took a long time to leave. We'll roll this back to today at the Will Rogers Zoo in Oklahoma City. A man was there today, and he saw an elephant on the other side. And as the man was just looking at the elephant, he thought it was cool, and he kind of remembered his old days. And all of a sudden, the other elephants walked down to where the water was. That elephant walked a little ways and came back and looked at the man, just looked him in the eyes, and his eyes started twinkling. And he started wiggling his ears, and he started dancing back and forth. And the man started kind of dancing back and forth with him. And he thought, could it be? And so they did this a while, and the man thought, I'm going to go. Crawled over that big steel pipe, went down through that ravine, went up on the other side, and he climbed over, and he walked toward the elephant. The elephant walked toward him. And when they got close together, the elephant reached out with his trunk, grabbed him, threw him down, stepped on him, and killed him. Wrong elephant. All right. It takes y'all a long time to process good humor, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. That probably wasn't good humor. All right. Yeah, he's calculating. All right, here's the advice. You know, we've been talking about you've missed your mom. We sent home the kids that missed their mom. We told you your moms don't miss you, but we haven't touched on the big factor. How many of you guys can honestly tell me back home you have a girlfriend? Raise your hands. Let's see. Okay. Now, put your hands down, because now I'm going to tell you when you get back what's going to happen. How many of you, and you got to be honest, you know, we talk about honesty at Boys State. How many of you have a really pretty girlfriend? All right. They're all liars. All right, here's the deal. On those pretty girlfriends, they were gone by Tuesday. But I talked to one of your mayors. He has a pretty girlfriend named Mabel Margaret. She's shaving her legs now, which makes her a lot prettier. But Mary Margaret, one of the football players, called and said, honey, you want to go get like some coffee and some cupcakes? And she said, sure, it worked out good. She's gone. Now, here's the next level. How many of you have an average girlfriend? Okay, we've got some honest guys here, yeah. All right. You guys need to call tonight, because it is getting close to the end of the week and they're shopping. They're at the mall, but they're not looking for anything to buy. They're looking for a guy to replace you. You'd be easy to replace. I mean, I'm just saying that. All right, now here's the last question, and honesty here. How many of you have a really, really ugly girlfriend? We got one over here. All right. Now, I'm just going to talk to you. The rest of these don't understand it. When you get home, she's going to be there. Nobody wants her but you. Was this a prom deal where you had to get a date and she was all that's left and so were you? Okay, yeah. Now, here's the next thing that's going to happen. Those kind of romances last forever. They'll be married by the end of summer. No? All right, let's find out how we're doing in the City of Excellence. Anybody care? This is official. It's on typing paper that has been stapled. Are they still a city? Yeah, I guess they are. All right, pay attention. City of Excellence standings, and we're going to start at 3. I love this. Bloxham. This is going to make somebody here tonight very happy because it's his city. Number 2, Smith City. And the last one, number 1. But let me tell you about these numbers. There is not a nickel between any of these. These numbers are incredibly close, which means these will move again tomorrow. Number 1, Ching City. And just to review, wrong elephant. You can use that joke. All right. I'm going to introduce a gentleman tonight that you're going to really like. We moved Boys State last year from NEO in Miami, which makes it a better drive for your parents. It's not so far away, to this beautiful campus. How many of you like your dorm rooms? All right. If we have time tomorrow, I'll tell you about my first dorm roommate and the tragedy that happened there. You're going to love it. This gentleman was very, very much a part of getting Boys State moved to Rogers State University. He is the gentleman who has made it really work. There are so many things that had to come together to get us here, his staff, our staff, the boys, and you did it beautifully. His name is Mr. Mark Razor. He is the vice president of, it's a really long list, so we're going to call him the vice president of everything at Rogers State University. Welcome him up here, because that's why you've had a good week this week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And thank you for that introduction. So some of you guys I met Saturday on the bus, right? I was driving the bus on that little ride over to the dorm, and I didn't really get to that was me. Yeah. Best day of my life. I had no responsibility except getting you to the dorm, so that was cool. But I didn't get to formally welcome you, so I want to do that tonight. Welcome to Rogers State University. Yeah? So some of my leaders, Bart and Jared, you're in the house somewhere. I'm going to ask this question again. How many of you like the dorms? Okay, how many of you like the food? So guys, I think we're going to renegotiate price for next year, all right? So, no, we're good. Really, my association with Boys State goes back about 10 years. I was not fortunate enough in high school to go to Boys State because they took like the top 4 or 5 boys from my high school, and I was nowhere close to the top 4 or 5, so I didn't get to go. But about 10 years ago, I started lining up with Boys State at NEO, and let me tell you, back then the program was sound, but then there were some difficulties. They had some struggles in leadership, and I won't go into great detail, but I'll tell you at one point, I told them they couldn't come back unless they fixed some things, right? So we were, after 30-some years of Boys State at NEO, I said, you guys, you got to fix some things or you're not welcome back. And at that point, I believe it was Clay Ballinger that stepped in. Clay Ballinger, you guys know him. He's one of the city leaders now. He stepped in, kind of took over the program and started knocking the rust off of it and bringing it back to a much more reputable position. So when I left NEO a few years ago, it had come from down here to way up here, and I'll just tell you, I no longer say it's one of the premier leadership programs. I say it is the premier high school leadership program. There's not a better one in the state, guys. You are so fortunate to be here. I promise, yes. If you don't already know, you need to know that these guys give up a little over a week of their life and come down here fully volunteered. They don't get paid. They come because they care about you and mentoring young men to be better leaders. And that's something that I can buy into. So when I decided to leave NEO and come down here to Rogers State, the first people I told, other than the campus people, was Boys State. And I said, but get ready, I may come after you. So I got down here to Rogers State, spent about a year learning what we have here with the Oklahoma Military Academy history, with the presidential statues on campus, with our great housing. And it was the first of the week last year. I get a call from Bart, and he said, hey, come up to Miami and have dinner with us, just catch up. So I went up, we sat down and had dinner and talked a little bit. I said, hey, you guys need to come to Rogers State and tour because I think I got a deal for you. So I think it was, about 20 minutes after you closed the week last year, they came down. We spent 2 hours on campus, and the rest is history. They came here. And guys, I can't tell you, we cannot be more honored than to host this program here at Rogers State University. But it's not just the university. The city of Claremore has bought in, and they are helping support through their first responders, their fire, their police, the city council, the Chamber of Commerce. But it's just not the city. It's also Rogers County. It's the Economic Development Authority. All of these people are working together to make Boise State the best that it can be right here on the campus of Rogers State University. So I don't think I'm going to be around for 35 years, but I hope Boise State is here 35 years from now. That's our intention. So I want to announce something tonight that you may already know about, and we'll talk about it more on Saturday morning when some of your folks are here. But you may not know this, but you've earned about $12,000 this week, right? You know how? Every one of you is going to receive a Boise State tuition scholarship for $500 a semester for 8 semesters, okay? You're also going to be eligible for a Boise State housing scholarship for $1,000 a semester for 8 semesters. So that's $1,500 a semester, 8 semesters, $12,000 off your college degree if you choose to come to Rogers State. I'm really excited about that. I hope some of you, I hope many of you will take advantage of that. And I'll give you some more details on Saturday when your parents are in. But let me close with this. On behalf of Dr. Larry Rice, the rest of the administration, the faculty, and the students. Oh yeah, hang on. I need to say thank you for last night. That was phenomenal for our softball team as they came in to see you guys lining the street. That couldn't have been better. I couldn't have planned that. They were very impressed, so thank you for that. Back to Dr. Rice and the faculty. Welcome to Rogers State University. We hope the finish of the week is just as good as this. If I can ever be of any assistance, please reach out to me. We'd love to make you Hillcats in the future. Thanks again.
I've put a couple of kids through college. The $12,000 he's offering is going to make your parents incredibly happy. And thank you for that. All right, gentlemen, this is a very special night. This is Legion Night. And if you've noticed in the back of the room today and out on the Passion Review and around everywhere, there are a lot of gentlemen and ladies in hats, red shirts that are our Legionnaires. We're going to show a video in a minute to show you a little bit about the Legion. And then we're going to have them have a discussion up here so you can learn more about it. Here's my challenge to you. As you pass out of here tonight or on campus and see one of these gentlemen, shake their hands because you have shaken the hands of a hero. And we welcome you here tonight, Legionnaires and your families.
Since the early 20th century, the American Legion has been America's leading voice for veterans and their communities. But before the American Legion came to the United States, its founders were overseas. They were over there. February 15, 1919, an official meeting was held to discuss details on how to help solve the issues with veterans coming home.
There weren't any benefits for those who fought in World War I. You were given $60 and you got a train ticket to the closest station nearest your home.
The American Legion began their work by approaching Congress and lobbying for veterans' rights and benefits. As the Legion grew stronger in membership numbers, their programs also expanded. World War II was the deadliest conflict in military history. It is estimated that approximately 70 million people around the world were killed.
The veteran comes back, takes off his uniform, puts on his civilian clothes, and all of a sudden, he's just part of the community.
With the World War II veterans coming home, the Legion became increasingly concerned. they started working on a new legislative bill. The first ever GI Bill in 1944 was created by the American Legion.
To our veterans, the GI Bill will mean if I serve my country's going to see that I have a real opportunity.
The American Legion will never give up on efforts to achieve the fullest possible accounting for those that are missing in action. Things would happen like radicals burning flags on the campus at Ohio State University. And sometimes that got to me to the point where I'd just about become physically sick.
The American Legion formed what is today known as the Citizens Flag Alliance, and that is to secure legal protection under the Constitution for the flag of the United States.
What higher priority can there be than having the government and the media incite Americans to be grateful to the people who offer up their lives for us? Where would we be without those people?
It is difficult to show how much we really appreciate the men and women who serve in the military. It is even more difficult for ordinary citizens to understand the readjustment and assistance needed for veterans when they return back into society.
To see the American Legion, to see the auxiliary, to see the Sons of the American Legion go out and do this work because they truly believe it, because they truly have a passion for it. It's incredibly inspiring, and it's something we can all learn from.
A strong national security, veterans affairs and rehabilitation, mentoring youth, and promoting Americanism. The American Legion truly is a national legacy.
At this time, I'd like to ask our Legionnaire guests to join us on the stage tonight for our discussion. And the first one is the American Legion Auxiliary Representative. She is the department president, and she is Ms. Tracy Smith. The next one is from the Sons of the American Legion. He is their representative, Mr. Christopher Cook, the National Executive Committeeman. Next is our American Legion Adjutant. He is the Department Adjutant, and name is Mr. Rob Hawk. The next one is the National Executive Committee man and Smith City namesake, Mr. Tim Smith. Y'all good now? All right, and our next speaker tonight is a member of Post 142 in Hominy, Oklahoma. Since 1976, Commander O'Leary served as historian, adjutant, vice commander, and post commander on 2 separate occasions. He has been the District 1B commander, vice commander, East from the 2019-2020, Department Senior Vice Commander from 20 to 21. You may have seen him around campus this week in a Kelly green shirt, and a lot of you have visited in his role as the Plan C medical officer. please welcome to the stage your American Legion Department Commander of Oklahoma, Mr. Charlie O'Leary. And I believe you're speaking.
Thank you, David. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is a great place. Boys State is the premier leadership activity of the American Legion. And all of you attendees are fortunate to be here because this is a chance of a lifetime. You will remember this for the rest of your lives. And this is, it's kind of like anything that you do in life, and kind of like if you go into the military, same thing. You get out of it whatever you put into it. But in Boys State, you have the opportunity to excel every day and use the lessons that you learn to go forward in your lives. And if you go into the military and you're going through basic training or infantry or pilot school, or if you're in the Navy and you learn how to sink a perfectly good ship and become a bubblehead, a submarine sailor, and you go into the Coast Guard and you get to wear orange, and the Space Force, that's I think Commander Brooks, your staff could already fit right into Space Force, because they're really good with the technical things and with the things that you do. But the lessons that you learn here, you're going to be able to carry through all of your life, pass on to your children and family, and hopefully when you reach that point in your career, when you get through with the military or beforehand in your civilian occupations, you'll think back on these days and you'll want to come back. Almost all of the staff here have been in Boys State previously. And this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So thank you for being here. Thank you for learning about America, learning about veterans, and learning about service before self. Thank you very much.
All right, we have another speaker coming up, and I'm going to ask her daughter to join her. Miss Katie Smith is part of the Junior Auxiliary. She's the Junior Auxiliary President. We're going to let her get up here. She was weed eating this afternoon and pretty much shredded those jeans, but all right, Tracy Smith.
Thank you. So I just came from Girls State in Edmond at UCO, and I just want to tell you, I thank you for allowing me to be here and to speak to you for just a few moments. But as I told the girls there, you are our future leaders, and I am so proud of you guys being here and taking a week of your summertime to come and learn about our government, to learn about what's going on in the world, and getting to know each other, because you're an elite group. Not everybody comes to Boys State, so you're elite. So just remember that as you go back to school. When you go back to school, talk Boys State up. Tell them they need to be here, because we need leaders. We need you. So I have a pin on, that's my pin this year, and it says, "They served, we served." So guess what? If it wasn't for those gentlemen and ladies back there that served and up here, we couldn't do what we do as an auxiliary. One of our things is in our preamble, is to contribute to the accomplishment of the aims and purposes of the American Legion. So if it wasn't for the American Legion, our auxiliary could not exist. So I thank you Legionnaires for what they do. I thank every one of you boys, men, young men. You're not boys, you're young men. If you're here, you are young men. I thank you for taking your time and coming to Boys State. It is an awesome experience, just like Girls State is an awesome experience for them. I have 3 gifts that I am here to give. If I could have your governor come up, if you wouldn't mind, please. Thank you. I just wanted a little gift from Girls State, just to, it's just a little t-shirt, but we want to thank you for what you've done, and congratulations on being governor. You're welcome. So I kind of let him off easy. The next 2 guys that get to come up, they're not off so easy, and I just want them to understand this was not my idea. This was Jennifer's idea. You need to hush. That's why you need to sit back there. So if I could get Commander Brooks and Clay Ballinger to come forward, please. We got to get Clay up here.
I'm a little scared.
Where's it? He popped out? Oh, okay, it's all on you. It's the same thing, so we're good, but they have to, Jennifer said, you have to open it on stage. So it will not get you fired, but you do have to open it up. I'm sure he probably will. Y'all will have to get him to wear this. I don't think that they would allow you to put that on over your uniform. So that would be a regulation violation. But Clay has the same thing. So what I would ask, guys, tomorrow, don't let them forget that they have these shirts, because I want you guys to get them to put them on and take a picture.
Oh, I think we can do that.
Yeah, we need a picture. You're welcome. Thank you. So enjoy the rest of your time. Good luck. Be safe going home. I am going back to Edmond this evening, but be safe going home. And good luck in your senior year. Do good things and come back and make sure you apply for junior counselor, because I know you guys are wanting to come back. So thank you.
I hate to tell you this, but he already has that one. The blue one he would have loved. Thank you. Our next speaker is the National Executive Committee man of the Sons of the American Revolution, Christopher Cook. Wait a minute. You can correct it.
Thank you. We'll get that corrected. I'm the National Executive Committee for the Sons of the American Legion. Does anyone know what the Sons of the American Legion is? We got one. We got a couple back here in the crowd, all the way back here. Is anyone that is a delegate a member of the SAL? Stand up. I can't see hands. Stand up. Got 2. All right. Stay standing for me. Does any one of the delegates have a father, a mother, a grandfather, a grandmother that served in the armed forces? Stand up for me. You are all eligible to join the SAL, the Sons of the American Legion. In this thing that was handed out to you when you entered is an application. You must fill out this application by the end of Boys State, and you will be signed up for free for this week only. Gentlemen, fill this out, give it out to your counselors, give it to the gentlemen at the shop. They're wonderful people. One of them is a past national commander of the SAL, 99-2000. Gentlemen, bend his ears. He's got many stories. Have a seat, gentlemen. Gentlemen, a little bit of history. The SAL was formed in 1932. Okay? It was formed because the American Legion membership was dwindling before World War II. It was started as a program, and it is still a program of the American Legion. Can anyone else name a program of the American Legion? Look down at your shirt, gentlemen. Boy State. There we go. Simple as that. Gentlemen, it is a great organization to help serve not only your veterans, but also in your community and themselves. Okay? As the SAL, we are to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and also serve in the memories of our former members and our forefathers. We uphold and defend the four pillars of the American Legion. Be careful. I'm going to start with Smith City. Smith. Can you name one of the four pillars? Don't give him a hint. Don't give him a hint. Smith City, can you name one of the four pillars? Sorry? No. Leadership was called out. Leadership was not the right one. We're going to go to Bloxham City. Bloxham? Patriotism. You're awfully close, but I can't give it to you yet. Ching. Americanism. You were awfully close to that one. Americanism is one of them. Can someone else give me another one? This gentleman right here was first. Not integrity. Gentlemen, did anyone get one of these? I'm going to give you a hint. Someone in the back. I saw a couple hands back there. Stand up for me. Shout it real loud. Service. No, it is not service. There's one more right behind you. Did you want to? I was going to say service. Okay. No, that is not. National security. I'll give you the other two. Children and youth. You don't look up here, there's a lot of youth out there. Children and youth is one of them. And the other one, I would say, a very strong pillar, is Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation. For one of the four pillars that the American Legion was formed on. Gentlemen, that is what the SAL does. Okay, we support the American Legion in every right. One of our greatest, I would say, achievement that the SAL does every year is we outperform not only the auxiliary, but the American Legion in supporting the Child Welfare Foundation. The SAL donates hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to the CWF, which helps support other children and youth activities and other organizations within your own state and community. Please fill out this application. Talk to your counselors, talk to your senior counselors, talk to the staff, talk to the gentleman and back there who has plenty of knowledge on the SAL. He probably has a lot of knowledge on the American Legion as well. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your week. It's going to be fun. Next week, it'll still be a lot of fun in your memories. You might hurt a little bit more. Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is the Department Adjutant, Mr. Rob Hawk.
Thank you. When I look around here, you might remember me from Saturday. I rode the bus with Dr. Mark Razor. We hauled you to the dorm rooms. I asked every group we put on that bus 2 questions. Do y'all remember that? How do you feel about Boys State this week now compared to last Saturday? I need audience participation. Yeah. And what did I leave you with? I left you with the idea that this is going to change your life, did I not? I look around here and I see future leaders, future military people, government people, but the backbone of the United States is by its people, because our nation is formed as we the people, correct? So, if you had one item that you could take away from this week that gave you a changed perspective, what would that be? Shout something out. I was not expecting that. Okay, leadership and integrity. There you go. He remembers. I asked every boatload that we took, or bus load, show me some enthusiasm. And there was a lot of bleak faces and a few that you could tell was already missing mom and she hadn't left the parking lot. But the idea of this is you're going to become better people, stronger people, and you're going to leave with some integrity that you didn't come here with. Do you agree? So what I would leave you with is soak up everything you can get, because this is going to pay off dividends 30, 40 years from now. You'll look back on this experience and you won't be able to contain yourself. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the National Executive Committee man, and he also has a city named after him that is the reigning City of Excellence. Now, here's the problem. He's got a little bit of an attitude, because you heard a lot of racket behind me a minute ago, behind the curtains. He found out his City of Excellence is in second place right now, and he pitched a hissy. That's all I can say. Mr. Tim Smith.
Thank you, buddy. Hey, I realized you had a tear in your eye when you didn't get a shirt. I'm talking to my wife. We're going to try to get you one, okay? All right, okay. If you don't know, Courtney Brooks does wear some stylish clothes sometimes. He picked out these shoes for me, so. All right. Hey, Boys State, how we doing? All right. Smith City, where you at? Smith City, where you at? All right. Hey, I want to wake you up for a minute, and hey, Joe Crittenden, it's good to see you here tonight. I think they're going to do something for you later, but I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate Cherokee Nation and everything you do for us, all right? Listen, I got introduced to Boys State in 2014, and it's been one of my favorite weeks of my life now to come up here. Last couple of years haven't worked out, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to try to be here next year and many years to come. But I want to give you a tip no one's gave you yet, okay? And this is a really, really important tip. You got to find your life partner. I was lucky many years ago, 24 years ago, to find my wonderful bride, Tracy Smith, because she stuck behind in my career. I took off and did whatever I had to do. I didn't have to worry about anything. And that's a priceless experience, to have a partner, a wife, a spouse you could depend on through thick and thin. And to this day, I take off all the time. I don't have to worry about a thing, and she makes more money than I do. That's important. Thank you, hon. Appreciate you. All right? That's one of the few times I didn't tell a white lie at all. That's 100% true. All right, but I'm going to tell you a couple things I want you to think about when you leave here this week and you go home, okay? Some of you might move into legislators, move into business, whatever you do in your life. I want you to think about liberty. I want to think about freedom, okay? Because I served about 4 years of my life in combat. I served in combat working for countries that didn't have liberty and had a so-called freedom. There were so many rules, they had really no liberty, no freedom at all. So when you move off and you become a Josh West or a Congressman Mullen or Senator Inhofe or whatever you do, or maybe one of you become president. We had a Boys Nation president become president of the United States one day. Who was that? Anybody know? Bill Clinton, okay? Another program we had, I'm going to get back on liberty and freedom in a minute. Another program we have is oratorical. We had a vice president of the United States that won the National Oratorical Contest. Who was that? Mike Pence. He credits his whole political career and be able to speak to oratorical program. And that's another program we have. But listen, don't take off and get in the big capital, wherever you're at, and start writing legislation that takes my liberties and freedoms away because you think you're making me more safe, okay? That's my lecture to you, okay? Because when we go abroad to fight for other countries, don't take everything way back home. You take that for what it's worth. I don't care what political affiliation you are. That's something you always should think about before you pass a law, is what are you doing to your people back home, okay? But I hope you leave here a better person. I hope you leave here and go back home. And when you go back to high school next year, I don't care if you're charter school, high school, public school, whatever it is, you talk to high school juniors about coming back here next year. Because we need a standing room only crowd. We need the top of this full to have that same experience you had this week. There might not be everything you enjoyed. One young man says bring 10 pairs of underwear, I think. Who was that? Yeah, that's all right. That's a good tip. My first year here, one parent went up there and bought 7 extra shirts. I don't have that kind of money, but she said, I know my kid's not going to do laundry, so I bought 7 extra shirts. Who did that this week? We got some honest people out there. I'm proud of you, all right? That's your mom and dad's telling you something. But thank you for being here. Go home and spread the wealth. Do great things in life, whatever you choose to do. And whatever education level you go to, whether it's tech, college, university, Ivy League, kick butt at it, take names. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank all of you. That was excellent. Our next speaker is our keynote speaker, and our last speaker of the night is from Peavine, Oklahoma, a small community around Stillwell. He served in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War from 1964 through 67, reaching a rank of E4. As the former deputy chief of the Cherokee Nation, he helped ensure that the Veterans Center was open. He oversaw the Cherokee Warrior Flight and signed an agreement with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs for veterans to use the tribe's health centers for routine care they would normally get at a VA health facility. He also signed an agreement with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development so the tribe could be one of 26 tribes to be part of the housing program for homeless Native American veterans. This man was also a member of the advisory committee for the National Native American Veterans Memorial that was completed in 2020. Please welcome to the stage the first ever Cherokee Nation Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Mr. S. Joe Crittenden.
Gracious. What an introduction. I'm not sure, did I do that? Oh, okay. You talk about enthusiasm. I saw it tonight. I saw it in this building. I saw it out on the football field. Young men, nearly 6 decades ago, I was out on gridirons and stuff marching around when I was in the Navy. Me and a friend of mine was working at a chicken plant in Arkansas. There wasn't much job back in Stillwell, Oklahoma, and so we went to Arkansas, believe it or not. Went to work in a chicken plant. Of course, Vietnam was heating up, and the draft was in place. We'd lost our president. He'd been assassinated in '63. And we felt like that at any time we were going to get our draft notice. My dad served in World War II. In fact, I was telling a young man out there earlier today, how many of you were named after an uncle or a grandpa or maybe a dad, or most of you were, right? Somebody in the family. I've got a copy of a letter my dad sent Mom
when he was in France in the hospital. Mom was expecting her first child, which was me. And Dad wrote the letter and said, Berthel, or darling, or whatever, if you have a boy and you haven't picked out a name for him yet, try my name. So my name actually is Stanley Joseph Crittenden. That's, you can understand why I go by Joe, okay? I don't much care for Stanley, but anyhow, I was named after a wounded soldier that was in a bed next to my father in France. All my life, I didn't ask Daddy's last name, but all my life I wanted to know that man's name. For what reason, I'm just curious. But then he come back with, if it's a girl, name her anything you want to. And my oldest sister, which was the oldest girl in the family, took issue with that. She thought Dad didn't like girls, but that's not the case. Commander, that shirt is befitting of us Navy guys. When it had the ladies on there, or the girls, they can call us whatever. What were they called us earlier? Some of the choice names that we had for swabbies and this and that, squids, and that's okay. Hey, it took us all. Gentleman sitting in the back there, I was impressed by the way we led out with prayer at this event. We at the Cherokee Nation, being a sovereign nation, we start all of our programs with prayer. That's just something we do. We also put out nativity scenes at Christmas time. And we say Merry Christmas because we believe in that. And along with the defense and the efforts that were put into place by our fighting men and women and the blessings of God, that's why we can have meetings like this and live where we want to and attend the church we want to attend and all the other things. But I was reading something that I found on a web page, and it made me think of those days when I first went in. I had a drill instructor that was meaner than a junkyard dog. This young man says, when I went to bed on the first night of Boys State, I thought I'd made the worst mistake of my life. I heard about some of the young men here that wanted to go home or went home. I don't know if they did or not. But I did hear that several of them had ankle problems and different things. And so I looked at the fence at boot camp in San Diego in '64. And I thought, I can be over that thing like a gray squirrel and be out of here in about 10 seconds and on my way back to Peavine, Oklahoma. And then I thought, I volunteered for this place. Nobody drafted me. If the rest of these guys can do it, so can I. And I thought, too, what would I do if I walked up in the yard at my house at home? My dad served honorably in the Army and was wounded and was captured and escaped and came home in one piece. He wouldn't let me stay there. He would have dressed me down. He would have said, son, do you know who you are? Do you know what your name is? I'm taking you back to San Diego, and you're going to do what you got to do and pay the penalty. So I stayed in there. And it's obvious to me as I saw some of the examples of your cities and the issues you were talking about and how to run the city and the issues you'll face with people when you're in a position like that. It's kind of like we at the tribe have to deal with. You can't please everybody. And I enjoyed the talk about the oil wells and stuff. If you got stock in the stock market and you got stock in the oil business, the price of a barrel of oil that goes up, you're saying, yeah, that's good. If you're at the pump putting in your truck, you're griping and complaining because the gas is so dang high. Kind of depends sometimes on what side of the fence you're on. But I enjoyed that comment about the pretty lady at home that somebody might have back home, okay, or the average or the other kind. I'll tell you a little story about me. I had this little girl back there at home, and she was one of the pretty girls, very pretty girl. And I had a picture on my locker door, and the guys would always make some remark about it, and they named her Team. And I said, what's the deal with that? And they said, well, the football players or the basketball players, they're all asking her for dates while you're out here at sea. And I said, no, ain't no way. Was I surprised when I got home? It was all over. So I had to start over from scratch. But this young man says, why in the world were we marching from place to place? Why did we have to wear an ugly shirt tucked into a pair of jeans? Why did we have to follow the orders of a bunch of strange old guys reliving their glory days? Well, young men, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I'm one of them strange old guys up here. So, but out of respect for what you're doing and you're like the cream of the crop from your different communities. Future leaders, as someone said earlier, maybe a president sitting out here, a senator or a congressman or something, or a CEO. You know, maybe there may be the next, down the road, another billionaire back here in this group, which it could happen. I went to West Point the other day, a week ago tomorrow. They done an Eagle ceremony presentation, the first time in history it's ever been done at West Point, they said. There was 11 tribal citizens from different tribes in different parts of the country. The Cherokee Nation had 3 that we honored with a veteran blanket and a cap because they were Cherokee citizens. And you all know about the eagles. They fly higher than most other birds. You get an eagle feather presented to you, it's for an accomplishment, something that's really great that you've done, that you finished. And if you're a member of a federally recognized tribe, you can actually keep the eagle feather. That's the only folks in this part of the world that can own an eagle feather and keep it. Otherwise, it's illegal. I'd like to say one other thing. When the money that was being talked about earlier for your participation and all, and I forget what was it, 15,000 was the total we were talking about, something like that. If you're a member of a federally recognized tribe, say like the Cherokee Nation, if you're a Cherokee Nation citizen, we give $2,000 a semester for the kids that go to college. And so for 8 semesters, that sweetens the pot pretty good too. So, and that's a real bonus for you. It really is. When we were going to school, I went on the GI Bill, and we got a little bit of money, not a lot, but I went to college at Northeastern in Tahlequah. If it hadn't been for my service time, I wouldn't have been able to go, or I wouldn't have went. So you'll look back on these this week that you're spending here one day, if you haven't started to already, and realize what a blessing it was to you and how it shaped you and how it helped you mature, respect and honor, how to follow orders, how to march. I'll say one thing about marching, and I noticed out there a while ago some of the folks in the step, the cadence. Usually you got somebody going along with your left, that kind of stuff. Kind of keeps everybody in step. I noticed a few that weren't in step, but that happens. I remember in boot camp when they issued us our piece or our rifle, they told us how to carry it. And we had different little turns and stuff. We had right oblique, left oblique, to the right, to the left, and all that. And then we had this one that was kind of tough sometimes. It was to the rear hut. Well, if you had your rifle and you didn't have it tucked up here and pointed straight up like that and just had it hanging off your shoulder this way, when you spun around, you cracked your neighbor next door or one side or the other, hit them in the head with it. And so not only did you have twisted ankles and skint knees and everything else like you fellas are getting, but they also had bumps and dents on their head. So you learned real quick how to hold that rifle and do it right. So, but I enjoyed the passing review. My passing in review time was I was down there marching like you folks, and some commander folks with gold on their caps and stuff was sitting up in the bleachers like we were this evening. I want to thank this facility, this college, for the rides and stuff for us, for the offer of food and all, and for the fellowship and the spirit that's here. I heard earlier that they moved it from Miami down to here, and I was actually born in Miami, so. This is a fine facility, and it's beautiful, and it's not too far from home. It's actually closer for me than Miami is. So, but thank you for having me here. I've enjoyed it. I could go on. Let me say a couple other things here. I made some notes. Dion asked me to talk about my job in the Navy. Of course, I was in radio communications during the Vietnam conflict. He asked me to mention unity, and unity is such an important thing. Diversity and unity. We're stronger because of diversity. We're stronger in numbers. And I noticed in some of the notes that I had that this is nonpartisan, kind of like the Cherokee Nation. When you run for office in the Cherokee Nation, you don't run as a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. You just run as a Cherokee citizen. And if we focus, regardless of what our political whatevers are, if we focus on our people and what the best is for the people instead of how can I get elected next term and all this kind of stuff, we'll make a better leader and we'll serve people better. Now, you may only last one term the way things are today, but at least you've done a duty and a service to the people and you've done it right. So I'm glad that this is nonpartisan activity and everything. And I want to tell you briefly about service. I retired from the post office after 30 years, counting my military and my service, postal service. I used to tell on pep talks, I'd tell my clerks and carriers, I'd say, what are we known? What's our name? They'd say, well, it's the United States Postal Service. I said, what's the most important word in that title? And they would say, well, I don't know, postal, I guess, or whatever. I said, service. That's all we got to offer is service. So, briefly, my years in the Navy, I retired in the post office. I was on a school board for two different schools, 8 years at Cherokee Nation Council, 8 years deputy chief, 4 years vice president of the National Congress of American Indian. I'm a song leader at Barron Baptist Church. I serve on the County Excise Board and the County Equalization Board, board member of Mid-County Fire Department, and I was a housing commissioner for 10 years. I don't say that to brag about anything. It's about serving our community and serving our people. And there's too few people out there that will actually donate their time and effort. That was mentioned, the folks that are here helping with Boys State do this for free, as far as I know. And there's very few people that will step up. When you need something done, people are always too busy, seem like. But these folks are not. And so this will be successful for years and years. Someone said 35 years, and who knows? I mean, I never thought I'd make 77, but I am. So thank you all. It's a good program, and I'm glad I've been here. Thank you.
All right, at this last little minute here, if you are a member of the Sons of the American Legion, the auxiliary, or an American Legion member, would you please stand? Boys State, with your applause, tell them thank you. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Commander Brooks, Boys State's Director.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say, on behalf of the entire Boys State family, thank you to our Legion family leaders for being here tonight. And thank you to the Cherokee Tribe and Mr. Crittenden for your great remarks tonight. We really appreciate it. When you come to Boys State, you don't leave empty-handed. We're not as fancy as Girls State, I'm afraid, but we do have something for you guys to remember us by. But I just want to say personally, thank you so much for the opportunity to lead this program. The impact that we have on the youth of today just cannot be quantified, and your trust in me to lead this amazing staff that we've put together to give these kids one of the best weeks of their life is truly an honor, and I greatly appreciate it and hope we can do this again next year and the year after, going well into the future. So thank you guys very much. Let's give them another hand, huh? So we have two things for everybody. We've got the official Boys State cap, fashionable in almost any environment, and as you've heard countless times this evening, we are starting on a new era in the Oklahoma American Legion Boys State program right here at Rogers State University. We couldn't have been welcomed much better. It's been fantastic, and this is going to be a relationship that lasts. So we had a coin minted, our 2022 special commemorative coin. Each of you are going to get one at graduation, but we've got the iconic preparatory hall on the front. This was the home of the Oklahoma Military Academy, the big gold dome out front you'll see. And then we've got our collective logos, Oklahoma American Legion Boys State, Rogers State, and the Oklahoma Military Academy. So we want to give one of these to all of you guys. So Mrs. Smith, thank you. Other Miss Smith, thank you. We'll get the hats. I'll give the coins, you give the hats. How about that? Perfect. Mr. National Executive Committeeman. Mr. National Executive Committeeman. Mr. Adjutant. And you've got a coin already, sir. So, Mr. Crittenden, that's for you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen, one more hand for our Legion family. Thank them for being here.
All right, we are going to take a few things off here and prepare for our band concert and our talent show. So just hang on. It's not going to take us but for a few minutes. But we are going to retire the colors, and we are going to end the way we always do. Steve?
Boys State, don't forget tomorrow we're going to police the campus, right? We're going to pick up our trash and make this place more beautiful than it was when we got here. Agreed? Okay. Here in a little bit at the talent show and the band concert, remember your manners. There's no booing goes on at Boys State. Everybody is going to do well, and you'll be amazed at what some guys can do. You're going to have a really good night.